Many pet owners will tell you they didn't rescue their pet rescued them. Our animals provide a level of companionship, and it proves to be invaluable time and time again, as you'll see today. I'm Christina Watkins, and this episode of Stitch, which is all about telling the heartwarming stories from communities all around the country, will explore the unbreakable bonds between human and animal. For instance, all the ways we help each other. A woman who nursed a squirrel to health during quarantine, the emotional reunion between a chimp and his first caretaker, and even a mayor who just so happens to be a goat. Here's Kelly Sasso, who will introduce you to a dog that showed up out of nowhere and transformed a community.
When Lady first showed up at the Harveys home, she was clearly a starving mother, but she had no puppies in sight.
She was just skin and bones, pitiful.
The family fed Lady that day, and she showed up every day afterward, but never stayed for long. Until one day, she revealed why she was always in such a hurry.
Sherry, there's a puppy. And then over the course of 2 weeks, 8 puppies.
Once word about the puppies spread throughout the neighborhood, the help and the donations started pouring in.
This is just a community that I didn't even know existed like this. Others were saying, well, you need food. We'll drop off food.
And those contributions didn't just stop at food. Most of the neighbors adopted Lady's puppies as well. As for Lady, she found her home at the Harveys. In our next story, we'll meet this stranger who turned into a hero when he dropped everything to save a puppy.
Jeremy Kabakang was driving when he heard a desperate cry for help.
We're just in the area going down memory lane. This is the high school that I graduated from. And we see 2 dogs sitting right here and we heard something. So I parked my car. Sure enough, we come and the puppies are waiting here for their 3rd sibling who's stuck in the drain.
Jeremy stayed by the fallen pup until help arrived.
Right here. It's okay.
Animal control was able to pull the pup to safety.
What happened? That's why you don't go down in a hole.
And by the look of that tail wagging, that's one happy pup.
Puppy's fine and it's a great day, but everything happens for a reason. Because if we weren't here, it might rain in a couple hours, so who would have known what would happen?
The dog in our next story is also a survivor, and he became an unlikely mascot for his rescuers.
While out for a walk on a snowy day, Tuff the bulldog fell through the ice on Lake Michigan. His owner unable to do anything but watch helplessly.
Very scary, and I just cried.
Luckily, the South Milwaukee Fire Department responded quickly.
The ice broke and he kind of shifted into the water, and I grabbed him and tried to get him on the shelf, which just broke again, and so I just had Ryan pull me in.
We were just glad that there's a good outcome.
After rescuing Tuff, the fire department thought the pup's story could help others.
We're kicking off a fundraising campaign and awareness campaign of these t-shirts that you see us wearing here with Tuff's likeness on them.
Proceeds from the Built Like Tuff campaign were used to buy equipment for the water rescue unit that saved the dog, as well as an organization that pairs veterans with service dogs. In our final rescue story, we're going to meet one little guy whose story is so inspiring. He was nicknamed the Miracle Pup.
Milo was born with dislocated elbows, causing his paws to be upside down. Although his spirit was playful, he could never live the life of a normal pup without corrective surgery. After being born with this deformity, he was surrendered to the Oliver and Friends Farm Sanctuary at 4 weeks old. The complex surgery to repair his legs was not an easy undertaking for doctors or for Milo.
They basically had to realign all of his bones around his joint and then use a surgical pin to hold it all together.
Milo would have to wear casts on both legs for several weeks after the surgery, requiring extensive home care.
As long as those elbows are stable, he has a good chance of being able to live life like we want our dogs to at home.
And thanks to the dedication of those at the Oliver and Friends Farm Sanctuary, Milo did receive the care he needed after surgery, but he still had a long journey ahead of him. And stay tuned, because after the break, you'll see how Milo's story unfolds. Welcome back. Before the break, we met Milo, an adorable puppy that underwent surgery to correct a rare condition. Well, it finally happened. After several long weeks, the casts were coming off.
Oh, I've been bawling all day. All day.
He had brand new legs, but no idea how to use them.
He's got no triceps, no biceps. He's got no shoulder muscles. You see how small his little chest is.
So it was time for therapy, including water therapy.
Good job. What a good boy.
Rehab really paid off for Milo, and each day his life was a little more transformed.
You're a good boy, Milo. Come on.
Careful, Milo, careful.
Oh my God, you are so big. I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Our next story is about an animal that helped children with their recoveries.
In the children's unit at Advent Health in Orlando, kids are battling chronic diseases.
It's kind of just lonely sitting in your room or just playing games, and it's just nice to kind of connect with like an animal in the hospital.
And that's where Honey, the therapy horse, comes in.
Of course you can.
For teenagers or toddlers, Honey can add something sweet to a hospital stay.
We enjoy taking her out to go visit everyone. It really seems to brighten everyone's mood that we come across in the hospital, from the patients that are here to your family members that are visiting.
From children's floors to hospice centers, Honey has made a difference.
Hospice visits, that family is no longer crying, and they're all enjoying the fact that a horse just left.
No one expects to see a horse in a hospital, and that's the beauty of Honey's power. She catches patients off guard and makes them smile just being in the room.
These chocolate lab puppies were pioneers in New Hampshire's first program pairing inmates with animals. The nonprofit organization Hero Pups trains, shelter, and rescue dogs to be companions for veterans and first responders.
Our focus is on the post-traumatic stress, TBI, traumatic brain injury, MST, and we're trying to help those veterans and first responders transition into a more independent and normal lifestyle.
The organization partnered with the jail to provide an opportunity that not only gives inmates purpose, but restores faith in themselves that they too are capable of making positive contributions.
This is actually huge for me because this dog right here, he's actually changing 2 lives right now.
Each morning, the inmate trainers begin their day with their puppy right by their side.
It's just amazing to watch her play and interact with things and kind of be able to see the joy through her eyes. I don't feel like I'm in an institution. It really brings me outside of these walls.
In the end, the puppies get trained, first responders and veterans get service dogs, and the inmates, they are given a sense of hope for their own futures. A little puppy played a unique role as well for students at a high school in Missouri, as you'll see in this next story.
Here he comes, Bella. At 4 months old, this puppy was named the Director of Love and Hospitality at St. Michael the Archangel Catholic High School.
You ready for math?
I'm ready for the puppy.
You ready for the puppy? At the end of the day, we decided we wanted a puppy who would grow up here and know that this is his life.
The school's special needs students benefited greatly from his presence.
If I'm having like a really bad day, they bring him in here and all of a sudden they show me the light again.
Without question, animals like that puppy can provide comfort. Specially trained service animals provide a sense of security and companionship to people suffering from PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and a wide range of other challenges, many of which can occur while serving this country.
Humans are very judgmental. Dogs, they don't care. You love me and I'm gonna love you, and that's just how it is. Ace can pick up on the flexions of somebody's voice, their tone. If he hears that getting higher or stronger, he lays his head on Mark's lap, or he'll come over and nudge his knee, and he just provides that level of comfort and ease. Knowing that Ace gave me my husband back is the most beautiful blessing next to me having my kids.
I was assaulted in the Corps numerous times and kind of led down a rough path. A service dog like Lady has helped me tremendously. She'll sleep with me. I'll wake up and she's just sitting over the bed, keeping watch. Or I'll say, get my 6, and she'll go around me and put space in between the person behind me. It's a strong bond.
My name is Bob Dean. I'm one of the founders of Javelin. Javelin's an organization that provides service dogs for veterans. I got started because of basically my wife. She suffers from PTSD. This was a non-combat related injury that happened some 30-some years ago, but it came back. And she decided that she would benefit from a dog. What we found out quickly, that service dogs cost between $25,000 to $35,000. They take anywhere from 2 to 3 years to get in the hands of a person. For our needs for veterans, that's really unacceptable. And that's where Javelin was born at. We're not actually training dogs, we're training skills to veterans. What that does is it gives a purpose to the veteran, and it gives a purpose and a usefulness for the dog. The way Javelin works is we put a trainer together with a veteran and with a dog. Our trainers teach the veterans on how to teach their dog how to sit, how to stay, how to behave. You build the team. Like in the military, we all were part of teams. We build that team up together.
The reason that we want to train the person, the number one benefit is that the dog respects the person as their pack leader. And so I want to give the person the tools to be able to train their dog so that in 10 years they can train another.
A true service dog is nothing more than a dog that has been taught a task. We've got teams out there where the dogs are used for diabetic detection. We have dogs that help vets with PTSD and TBI and some other mental instabilities.
If you go back in history, there's been a long trace of dogs being man's companion. And if you can take that mentally and how that overflows to emotionally, not only will you enrich the lives of veterans, but veterans can be such an asset to the community.
I'm fortunate enough that I get to see what difference these dogs make in the life of the people that they're paired up with. I enjoy the fact that I'm able to contribute. I enjoy the fact that I'm making a difference. The older I'm getting, the more I see the need to do this. And I have full intent to keep this on for as long as I possibly can.
Welcome back. Just like people, animals have their own unique quirks and personalities. These animal companions may not be your typical domesticated dog or cat. In fact, some have real jobs. But first, we want to show you some video that we could watch over and over. This is the moment a chimpanzee reunited with his foster parents. Limbani the chimp was born with pneumonia and rejected by his mother. The Zoological Wildlife Foundation in Miami rescued him. Jorge and Tanya Sanchez raised him for the first few months of his life, nursing him back to health, and Limbani is clearly grateful. This next story takes us out of the jungle and onto the farm in a story that is guaranteed to move you.
Miniature cows are still going to produce meat. They're still going to produce milk. They are a cow in every way, just a little bit shorter. My name is Dustin Pillard. I'm the owner of Pillard's Miniature Cattle in north central Iowa. So this right here is Annabelle. She was born on our farm 2 years ago. I came home from work from the fire station and I had her mother penned up. Annabelle was laying in the corner and it was cold and she was still wet, but I didn't realize how small she was. I brought her in the house and got her warmed up and dried off, and we started bottle feeding her, and she just played in the yard with the dog, followed our dog around. Annabelle's been to some care centers and nursing homes. She just kind of has it all. This is the lottery winner right now. I was a city kid, would go to his grandparents on the weekends. They had a dairy farm, so I really have been around cattle my whole life, and I didn't figure I'd have a farm big enough to have the big ones, so I thought if I could have some small ones, that'd be a pretty neat deal. We moved here in 1995, and I had a few at that time, and we just started getting a few more, and we're kind of where we're at today. So this time of year, with all the calves we have roughly about 60 animals. Mine don't have ear tags in their ears like maybe a standard herd would to identify the difference. It's pretty easy for me to know what their names are, and my wife gives me a hard time. Says I remember their birth dates and birth weights better than our kids.
25 years ago, I never really thought we'd meet the people that we do, but we've met people from all walks of life, and we've sold cattle to 34 states. We've had requests from other countries. We sent one animal to Canada. The family had a child that was physically handicapped, so they wanted animals around for him to interact with. We just actually got an email from him about 6 months ago saying that the animal had passed away. He was 15 years old, and their family enjoyed him for his entire life, and they were very thankful for it. My relationship with my cattle are kind of my stress reliever. You know, some people golf, some people play pool or boat or whatever, but I really enjoy the cattle, and the thing I enjoy most is having calves every year. But we don't breed them till they're about 2 or 2.5. It's a long process, but it's worth the wait for me. Cattle have been a part of human history for centuries, one of the most widely used domestic animals in the world. The more time you spend with cattle, the better it pays off.
Politics can be polarizing, but in some cases it can get a little hairy. One town's pet mayor election has become a favorite tradition.
I, Lincoln, do solemnly swear.
In 2019, Lincoln the Goat became the mayor of Fairhaven, Vermont. The idea was to elect an animal mayor to help raise money for a school playground that had seen better days.
The slide has a big hole in it, and it's just going down.
The student-decided election garnered international attention, and the 2020 race had an abundance of challengers, 16 in fact. While raising money for the playground was still important, some voters had some strict criteria for their candidate.
Why do you want Campy the horse? Because she's so cute. I voted for K9 Sammy because she's cute. He's just adorable. She's cute and she likes to walk on leashes.
But in the end, the incumbent, Lincoln the Goat, lost to Murphy, the therapy dog, a school favorite.
It doesn't matter who wins. You know, the playground, the kids, that's what it's about.
Mayor Murphy was sworn in and helped raise funds for the elementary school playground. Simpler times, especially compared to the rest of 2020. You know, for one thing, quarantine had us all going a little nuts. But for this pair, it was just a day in the life.
Having her was such a blessing because she genuinely just made me really happy and gave me purpose.
Emily East found Wilhelmina the squirrel at the beginning of quarantine. Willa, as she's nicknamed, had an injured and infected eye. Some said she wouldn't make it.
I just started doing my research and just figured it out and started getting to work, and it was round the clock, like 24/7, and just tried to keep that eye clean and gave her all the food that she needed and, you know, bottle fed every 2 hours.
Emily nursed her back to health, and the pair became inseparable. Willa thought Emily was her mother and followed her around wherever she went.
I just love animals, and I don't know, I've always had a connection to them, but something about Wilhelmina was, she's so special. It was just such a soul connection, and that sounds completely insane to say, like it's a squirrel, you know, and people are like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, probably so.
Emily even sang Willa to sleep.
You are so precious to me, cute as can be, baby of mine.
Willa was later moved to a facility where she was able to meet other squirrels that were also raised by humans and can't be fully released into the wild. But thanks to Emily, Wilhelmina has a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed future ahead of her. And Emily wasn't the only person who took in a new and unlikely pet during quarantine. When the pandemic canceled camp at a farm in Vermont, the animals went to the kids instead of the other way around.
The new village farm typically hosts an April vacation camp, at a time of year when children can visit the farm and care for the animals. But since the camp was canceled because of the coronavirus, the farm's owner found a new way to let families interact with the newborn animals.
So we just put our heads together until we figured out a way where they could bring the farm home.
For $75, families could foster a baby animal for 2 weeks. Bunnies, chicks, ducklings, or even a baby goat.
Once they fostered them for 6 weeks, they can choose to adopt. But so far, we haven't had any come back.
The kids got to pet and play with cute baby animals while also learning to become responsible caretakers.
I was worried a little bit about bringing a bunny into the situation, but it's really given the kids something positive to focus on.
I think for kids who are at a loss right now because none of their rhythms are normal, it can be a really nurturing thing to nurture something else.
We spent a lot of time talking about what we think of our animals, but we'd like to leave you with thoughts from them. Here are some of your pets saying how much they love you. From all of us here at Stitch, thank you so much for joining us.
I love you! I love
You get it?